Time to find out whether or not a level 14.5 Dragonite can tank a Zap Cannon. What is going on, everyone? Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like OxfordU Gatkin, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some battles in the Open Great League, and we are highlighting two Pokemon which did receive an update to its moveset for Season 12. The first Pokemon being featured on this team is going to be Shadow Mawile, running the fast move Fairy Wind, which is going to be generating energy at a much quicker pace than Fire Fang. And the second Pokemon is going to be Dragonite, unfortunately not a Shadow. But even as a normal Dragonite, it is going to benefit significantly from having access to its new move, Superpower. Now obviously running Mawile and Dragonite on the same team is going to leave this team very vulnerable. For that reason, we are pairing it with Trevenant. However, Trevenant isn't going to be able to carry this team in every matchup. For that reason, I highly recommend not building a team like this one. However, if you do insist on it, it is in this type of situation in the early ranks of a new season where you would want to experiment. If you enjoyed this type of content, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really helps the channel grow. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so right off the bat, you could see that Mawile plus Trevenant is going to be very weak to fire, and then Trevenant plus Dragonite is going to be very weak to ice. So obviously not the most balanced team you're going to see, but in the early ranks of a new season, you could possibly get away with it. Shadow Mawile into a Sunny Cherrim. This is a pretty decent matchup here for Mawile. We are resisting the grass type moves, but still taking super effective damage from the Weather Ball Fire. We are going to decide to no shield this first move, expecting to survive. But in a game like this, the only thing you could ever expect is for something to not work properly. And although Season 12 has brought some nice changes to the meta, the one thing that remains constant is the game crashes and lag. After restarting the app, we tried jumping back into this battle, and Mawile has been taken out at this point. Very possible this Cherrim is loaded on energy, going to come in here with the Dragonite, and the opponent swaps out into an Obstagoon. Dragonite having access to Superpower means that Obstagoon does have to respect the potential knockout blow, and even though the opponent already has a massive advantage from our game crashing, they go for the Night Slash and they get the very unnecessary boost. In case they thought they could survive a Dragon Claw, I decided to go for the Superpower, but after getting the boost, the opponent is going to double shield the Obstagoon, which leaves us in a very difficult spot, with Trevenant forced to go up against one of its most difficult hard counters. Now at this stage in the battle, you may notice that it appears the opponent is either lagging or going for a very ill-advised BM, because they seem to be waiting until they're at 1 HP to throw the Night Slash, and we are now pretty much at a Shadow Ball, so if the Cherrim comes back in, it's about to catch this. Bang! There it is, and it's an Excadrill in the back. If you feel bad for the opponent lagging, just remember what I had to deal with at the start of this match. A game crash plus a Night Slash boost. So even if your game crashes, if they let you back into the battle, try playing it out, because you never know what's gonna happen. Let's hop into the next one. Shadow Mawile into Scrafty. This is a pretty solid lead right here, especially with Fairy Wind. You might be asking why we're running Power Up Punch with a move like Fairy Wind. It makes a lot more sense on a move like Fire Fang. So running a higher damage move like Iron Head might make more sense with Fairy Wind generating so much energy. However, if you're able to bait a shield with the Power Up Punch bait, those play roughs are definitely going to hurt. After forcing the first shield from the Scrafty, in order to prevent the counter down, we are going to swap out into Dragonite. This of course means we do have to shield up this potential foul play, but we are now ahead on energy, and the opponent swaps out into a Victini. Unfortunately, Superpower is going to be resisted due to the Psychic typing, so we have to go for the more boring move, Dragon Claw. But this is going to put the Victini very low in HP, and the opponent is actually going to dump their energy here with the V-Create, which will take out the Dragonite, but also lower their own defense. This will allow Trevenant to come in, take out the Victini with only one Shadow Claw before a Confusion comes through, and the opponent has a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. Now a lot of you may be thinking, why did they not bring in the Stunfisk against the Dragonite in this particular scenario? Even if they did, because Dragonite has access to Superpower, we would still be able to apply pressure Fire, and with both Victini and Stunfisk being weak to Trevenant, I feel like the outcome of the battle would have been the same regardless, basically leaving the opponent in a position where they don't want the smoke, force closing the app early, and that's gonna leave their Scrafty here to go down to a Trevenant. In order to save them the embarrassment, we will swap out into the Mawile. We'll chalk that one up to being too early in the season for BM, but definitely stay tuned. So jumping into the next battle, we are leading a Fairy Wind Shadow Mawile into a Registeel. This is definitely a matchup where you prefer to have the Fire Fang, and against this type of lead, we should be instantly swapping out into the Dragonite. Throwing the Power Up Punch here does nothing for us, only benefits the opponent, giving them some free energy. Time to find out whether or not a level 14.5 Dragonite can tank a Zap Cannon. Just barely. A Shadow definitely would be taken out, but it would also deal a lot more damage in return. Trying to get sneaky here, building up past the Superpower, and the opponent makes an excellent catch onto the Sableye. There is one positive to take away from that catch, however, and that is that we lured out the Sableye, which hopefully means that Trevenant will now have an easier time against the remainder of the opponent's team. I do decide to shield this up here in case we need the Mawile or whatever's left in the back. We then swap out into the Trevenant, going to build up to the Shadow Ball, and since they are staying in, I'm going to look to bait with the Seed Bomb, expecting them to shield this in order to lower our attack with a Zap Cannon. Now in this particular situation, the opponent should always be swapping out after throwing the Zap Cannon in order to prevent the potential Shadow Claw down from the Trevenant. The opponent allowing us to take out their Registeel basically puts us at more or less 2 Shadow Balls, and with a Medicham in the back, this game is over. Nothing the opponent could do. GG, let's hop into the next one. So for this next battle, we are going to be leading Shadow Mawile into one of the more difficult leads to see with this team, Galarian Stunfisk. And swapping out into Dragonite would be a better position than having a Fairy Wind Mawile, however it's still a losing matchup, so I actually swap out into our only real answer, which is a move that is never really recommended to do, but we have no choice right here. Here comes Trevenant, and the opponent is actually deciding to stay in. They also shield up the Shadow Ball here, which tells me that they likely do not have a great answer for Trevenant, or their entire backline is very weak to Trevenant. That puts us in a pretty good spot right here. I'm actually going to play this out without investing any of our shields, come in with the Dragonite, and look to Dragon Breath down from this HP range before they reach another move. So we come in here with the Dragonites, we're going to look to Dragon Breath down, the opponent stays in that matchup, and now they decide to come in with a Swampert, which definitely is not a good answer to Dragonite. We could survive a Hydro Cannon here, so we are not going to shield this up. Actually ends up being a Muddy Water. Early rank battles in the season, you love to see it. They swap out into Venusaur. Once again, not a good answer to Dragonite. However, we need to save this for the Swampert because Mawile has a very rough matchup there, even against a Muddy Water Swampert. Now, it doesn't have a particularly better matchup against Venusaur. However, you'd much rather have it in this matchup than against the Swampert. Opponent is going for Sludge Bomb here, which I assume means they are not running the legacy move of Frenzy Plant, but it does not matter. Dragonite is going to come back in here, Dragon Breath down the Venusaur, and this sets up for the Superpower experiment. Hit him with that bang! There it is, Swampert taken out. We were only able to come back from that difficult lead because the opponents had no answer to Trevenant on their team. And before we jump into this next battle, I am about to utter some words that I never thought would be possible this season. We are on a 4-game win streak, just like Manchester United. Yes, you heard that right. Manchester United on a 4-game win streak. Erik ten Hag has found out the solution, and it basically includes benching Harry Maguire, the defensive GOAT himself. We got Shadow Mawile into a Shadow Hypno right here. Not a particularly great matchup, but as you can see, if they're not running Fire Punch or Shadow Ball, it appears that we could reach 2 play roughs, and that ends up forcing 2 shields from the opponent. We will now come in with the Trevenant, Trevenant. Although it's likely they don't have Fire Punch, I guess it's still possible they have Ice Punch or Shadow Ball, so I am going to shield this up. It's another Thunder Punch, and unless this is a 5-head play, I'm not expecting the next one to be something other than another Thunder Punch. So we are going to no shield and Thunder Punch it is. Opponent comes in with a Sableye. We are going to throw a Seed Bomb and then swap out into the Dragonite. Opponent likely to throw a move right here. We are actually going to no shield this foul play, which is certainly a risky play, does a lot of damage, and it is a Whiz Cash in the back. This should only be a Mud Bomb right here. Obviously not going to take us out, but we will not be able to survive the next one. Looking to throw back-to-back Dragon Claws right here, but the opponent actually outpaces us. At this point, we have a decision to make, and we are in a pretty tough spot. Trevenant, very low, still has a shield. I think the only win con at this point is to shield up the Mud Bomb and commit to a complete Shadow Claw down. But what makes this difficult is the potential for Sableye to come in and snipe us down at any moment with only a single Shadow Claw. Not today. Here comes that. Bang! There it is. Or I guess there it was supposed to be. Opponent backing out before it actually landed, but it doesn't matter. 5 wins in a row. Despite the 5-0, do I recommend this team? No, this was in a very early rank in the very early stage of the season. Would I recommend Mawile or Dragonite with their new moves? Yes, but definitely not on the same team. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.